Hi everybody, and thank you so much for joining this webinar, Unleashing Your True Desires and Three Secrets to Fulfilling Relationships. My name is Eugenia Oliberti, and I'm an international pleasure and intimacy coach. I support singles into the dating and dating confidently. And I do that by unleashing their true desires and creating more love, more connection, and more pleasure in their life. And through my personal journey and the journey of so many people that I worked with, I have realized that there are three major things that actually stopping us from creating relationships of our dreams. Because let's be honest, now in this, not only now, but now it's especially obvious that, everything that we thought that was important actually becomes not that important. What becomes important, even more so, is the true, authentic connection, person to person connection. And that is really valuable and it's never going to lose its value. I'm on a mission in the world to create more love, more pleasure, and more connection. Because all my life I've been searching for love, and all my life I have been burned. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Why is this happening? I just want to give love and I want to receive love. And it seems to be so hard, and there's not seems to be nobody there who can like actually meet me in this place. And it has been lonely most of my life, until I figured this incredible secrets that I would love to share with you today. And so earlier I have asked um, to share the intentions. What are your intentions for this webinar? And for those of you who's watching on replay, please make sure you set the intentions also. Intentional living is really incredible, actually. So my intention for today is to deliver value to you, to be of service, and for this webinar to go smoothly and easily and make it fun. So if you have got any questions, I would be answering questions at the end. And meanwhile, I would love to just read a couple of intentions here that have been, that some of the participants have posted. So intention is to become a wiser woman, which is amazing intention. I'm here tonight because I want to manifest more of my dreams and my true desires. Oh, this is beautiful. Right. Is there any more intentions here? So please share them. I would absolutely love to hear them. But meanwhile, let me start. So some of you know me and some of you don't. And basically, what is happening, I'm just opening this document that I like, a little guide for me. Okay. So are you ready for the secrets? Are you ready to learn the secrets and what is actually stopping us from creating the beautiful relationships that we all dream of? And I'm saying we all dream of because most of us do dream about beautiful relationships that we see only in movies, that we see only, in theaters, beautiful love stories. And it becomes quite unrealistic to match on that. And with online dating, our relationships become quite disposable very quickly. So if you're ready to find out the secrets, I would love to encourage you to say yes in the chat box. So let's do that. And we'll begin. Oh, yes, I'm ready. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the secret number one that has been one of the biggest challenges for me personally, I can see, hell yeah. Amazing. And that has been one of the major challenges is that as we growing up as kids, we model our relationships from our parents or grown ups from our childhood who model the relationship for us. And for example, for myself, I grew up in a family with parents alcoholics, in a very dysfunctional family where my father very often was abusing my mother, and he was very often creating a drama, even fights, and my mother like always was forgiving him. There was always something. So she never had enough strength in her to walk away from the relationship because simply she didn't believe that she was worth it. Right. So me growing up, I got married to the guy who is exact spit image copy of my father, right? And even now, when we on the phone and he laughs, his laugh is resonant with my father, and it's even becomes scary. So, what what is here is like, why do I mean by that? The problems associated with relationships, we very often look for the familiar, very often look for the familiar. We look, and actually we try so hard to meet somebody who is completely opposite to what we find familiar, but we always end up like with the person who is familiar, who is resonant with this father figure for women or mother figure for men. And what happens, we look for our parents, to be our partners in a way. So let me tell you a story of one of my clients. So she has been dating all her life, and all her life she's been in the relationships, like a really like wild relationships, right? And it's like there was like lots of party involved, lots of uh, wildness, lots of banter involved, because simply she didn't believe that the guys wanted her for any other reason. Her beliefs around relationships was that guys only want her for fun. So it's like all the time she was like this really outgoing, very bubbly, on the outside, very confident woman. And she's very successful woman, she is very smart, really amazing, creating a big, massive difference in the world. However, it's a different story in her love life, where she's choosing the partner who is exactly spit copy of her father, and her father is emotionally unavailable, not able to connect or hold a conversation or even show the interest in what is happening in her life. So what happens that she is very attracted to the person like that. Oh, I can see we have got more people. Hi guys, hi. um so yeah, earlier I have asked to share the intentions. So please, if you would put the intentions here in the comment box, I would really appreciate that. Let's see where we are going with this, right? So yes, and her father was emotionally unavailable and still is. And the simple thing as cooking, that she loves to cook, and she always was going out of her way to impress her daddy, and she always would cook a beautiful meal, and her dad would never take a notice or appreciate it very much. So every single man, when we started working together, we actually went into her story about this man that she's going for. So she described me the men that she usually goes for, and all of those men, they were somewhat resonant with her father figure, and especially her last partner have been like really toxic. And there was a one particular incident where she like flew across the road, a world, to be with this man. And what happened was, uh, they had this like beautiful love story, so in love, but as soon as she arrived, everything have changed, and have changed not for the best, but actually for very, very worst. And what happened was that, staying with this man, she started cooking for him, creating the nest and everything. And not only he was not appreciating everything, he was criticizing everything. Exactly what her father was doing in the past, like when she was growing up. And what what was happening is like that was the turning point for her, that she started realizing that she's completely drained. Like sometimes we would take the calls, um, like she would be in a terrific states, you know, like terrific, and suffering a lot, suffering a lot, but somehow we just accept this suffering, right? And again, it's all because we find that she's seen her mother was doing that all her childhood, so it's like you kind of accept that this is the role for you to do that too. um, you know, the other client of mine that I worked with, and he's a man actually, and all he's seen, that having a sexual relationship with a woman was a chore that for women. So basically, his father said once to him about that, you don't use women, you know, like you don't use women for sex, and he basically made it mean that sex is bad, that sex for women is bad. So he was going through life having this belief that sex is bad. So he was not in a relationship or dating for like 8 years, because all his life he went to believe that sex is bad, and women don't like sex, and it's basically using women, and this is something that he couldn't allow himself to do. So you see, it's like all his life he was following this belief that, um, like, how can you possibly do something what feels so good, which is sex, and share your relationships, when you believe, like that it's completely wrong, right? So it kind of creates this disbalance, but those beliefs are not available to us. Like, we don't know what we don't know, because it's like very deep on a subconscious level. Does this make sense, guys? um so the first secret, the first secret is healing your past. And this is the first secret, is becoming clear on what is your past and healing that. What is your story about relationship? What have you been modeled in the relationship? Like, how can you see yourself, you know, in relation to the models of your relationship? Does this make sense? Please comment yes if it does make sense, and if not, then we can go over this again. But meanwhile, let me see that there is another intention. Intention is to understand my relationship patterns and attract better relationships. That is beautiful. And I hope that this webinar is really going to give you clarity on that, because this is the whole intention for this. So guys, please comment yes if the first secret of healing your past makes sense to you. So that what happens is that we are attracting very much our parents or role models of our childhood, who have modeled their relationships for us. and how the relationship works. It's like with their values, with their dynamics, you know, and how we interact with one another. So I cannot see any yeses. Does this not make sense? Okay, so Marley says, hey, makes total sense. Amazing. That's great. Thank you so much. Otherwise, I'm like, okay, is it okay for me to move on? Because if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense to move on to the next part. So, secret number 2, which is really big. And you know, and all of these secrets, they actually depend on each other. They actually completely connected with one another, right? So what I want to say is that, you know, you cannot uh, deal with one secret without dealing with another one. Okay. So it's all connected. um so right, by the way, if at any point you want to ask any questions, please do that, okay? And then later on at the end, I will take questions. So if you have questions, please make sure you prepare them, right? And you share them. I would be really happy to answer them. Right. So secret number 2, healing your inner child. It's not you, it's her. Or if you're a man, it's him, right? And what am I saying by this? Um, when we are growing up and we are absorbing as a sponges everything around us, we absorbing everything like sponges. And what happens sometimes when we observe our parents or people in our life, and we also create situations in our life, and our emotions are really high, and especially as children our emotions are really high. So when something happens, it creates an emotional imprint in us, and we learn to respond to situations based on these emotional imprints. So what happens when we are in situations, so when we as a children have emotional imprint and we responded to situation, like for example, let's say when I was 16 years old, I was in so much fear because when I was growing up, my family, my father was always fighting my mother. You know, I didn't think that it was safe for me to trust a guy, a man, because first model of my relationship was untrustworthy. So I decided that it's not safe to trust men. So all my life I went looking for evidence of how I cannot trust men. And did I find that evidence? I really did. I found a lot of evidence. And every time that I was looking for evidence that I cannot trust, the evidence was there. There was like, okay, I can see you're a good man, but I just gonna be waiting until you're gonna fuck up, you know, this kind of thing. It's like, and then I'd be like, oh, I knew it, I can trust you. I knew it. This is exactly like, you see, I was right. I was right. And this is what we are doing subconsciously all of our life. Because when we are in relation, like, let me rephrase this. When you're on your own, you can be as like zen, the most zen person in the world. But when you are in relation with other people, that this is where your truth really comes out, because you get triggered, you get reflected something what is happening inside of you by other people. And what happens very often in relationships, that your child gets triggered, and your child is usually, I would say, a teenager, when you're already ready for relationships and when you're looking for this external love, to fill you up. That this, when that happens, that um, you make your mind up about guys or the girls and how is your relationship is like. So for example, uh, one of my clients, Liz, so she was having um, a very interesting relationship with her dad, actually, and always looking for approval. It's like she was scared to hurt him because she felt responsible for his well-being, because she thought that she has to sacrifice herself in order to like being liked, right? And as a teenage girl, she was looking for this approval of her father all the time. So in every relationship that she went to, she was looking for this approval from a man. Okay, even her dance teacher, she was like waiting to like, oh, but is this safe to be like this? Or but is this safe to say this? Oh, but is this safe? Oh, but I want to go there, but I'm not sure if they're gonna like it, but maybe it's gonna hurt their feelings. You see how that would be, how difficult that would be to hold on your shoulders, constantly taking responsibility for other person's um, feelings and emotions. And unfortunately, so many of us go into relationship feeling that we are responsible for other people's emotions, for other people's um, happiness, when in fact we are responsible only for our own. We are responsible for healing this child that once upon a time have decided that, hey, it's not safe being me. Hey, it's not safe trusting this person. Hey, it's not safe to express myself and be sensual and be affectionate because I get picked by on it. Does this make sense? Please comment yes if it does. So yeah, another story of my client um, is where she always thought that she did something when she was very young. She went out, she found the keys and she went to the church early in the morning when everyone was still asleep in her family. And basically what happened that she got in trouble when she got back, and she made it mean that she's not safe and she cannot go out and it's unsafe, like, and everyone is angry with her. So imagine this, every time she was in a relationship or even not in a relationship, that with the people who are close to her, she carried this belief that people are angry with her. Can you imagine living uh, your life thinking that everyone's angry with you all the time, that every time your boyfriend, you do something wrong or not even wrong, or you sit in a certain way, you just feel that people are angry with you? Can you just imagine um, living this way? How much pressure is that? Constantly working on being liked and constantly thinking that people are angry with you with or without a reason. So this is another story, for you to actually to show you how important it is to heal our inner child. And you know, for some people it happens that you heal your inner child, that for some people it takes sooner, for some people it takes longer, right? There is no right or wrong way to do this. Everyone is on their own journey, everyone is on their own time, and everyone has got their own roots, you know, and those roots are hugging those beliefs really strongly. And I find that um, all of us have that. All of us have that. My belief have been that I'm not important. My father forgot me in their kindergarten when I was 4 years old, and I stayed in the kindergarten maybe until midnight. I've learned the clock there, but in that time, I have decided that I'm not important. And I went through life, I went in every relationship thinking that I'm not important. And you know, when I was not feeling important, I wasn't important, because it is impossible for you to like um, consciously operate on this level, but subconsciously you don't feel that you belong there, that you don't feel that you're worthy of that love, you know, because if I'm not important, how can I receive all this love that is important to me? Because this is important and I'm feeling unimportant, and I'm not even aware that I'm feeling unimportant. Does this make sense? So healing the inner child within you, and it's a teenager, it's your really young child, you know, sometimes it's both, sometimes it's slightly in the middle, you know, but all of us have to attend to our inner self and look inside what is happening inside. Does this make sense so far? Okay, so let me read another intention here. So my intention is to attract the wonderful man who's ready to commit with me, that I truly deserve and ready for. This is amazing. Thank you for sharing this. So Lisa says, I can relate. In my case, I've lived all my life believing that every single person I love will leave me, choose someone else, and I don't measure up, right? This is exactly what I'm saying. And we have picked up those beliefs somewhere in the childhood. So healing this belief system, it is quite a deep work. And because we have been operating on this belief system all of our lives so far, and like I'm in my 30s, you know, some of the clients that I work, they're in their 40s and 50s. Imagine living all of your life operating, oh, I call it software system, okay? So on this software system, and then when you actually change the software system, it's like there is like some adjustment time, right? So it's like it takes you time to implement the new belief system, find the evidence of that, and really allow your whole system to adapt to the new ways of being, right? So it is quite a deep emotional work, but very, very rewarding. It's neither easy or simple, but it's very rewarding. So let me see. Yes, I have experienced the traumatic behavior from childhood, but I've realized and healed and have forgiven. But yes, it is a lot of conscious work, for sure. And yes, I'm 42. And yes, it is a lot of work, a lot of work. And you know, in my experience, even when you do the work and you have forgiven and you have released the trauma, every so often it still pops up here and there. You know, it's like um, my belief that I'm not important, it still makes the appearance. It's like it's very deeply rooted, but it's like right now I have enough tools in me to actually be aware of what is happening. Because before I was aware, like basically, you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know that these are the beliefs that you're operating on, you just simply cannot do anything about it. But when it becomes obvious to you, you actually become aware of how you feel and how people around you make you feel. And why do you feel like that? You become more self inquisitive there, right? Does this make sense to you guys and ladies? I was so interested that this webinar was meant for women, but then I had quite a lot of interest from men. So yeah, guys, I'm so happy you're here also, and I'm so happy to serve you. And I really hope that this resonates with you also. So, right, I am ready to move on to the next part, and the secret number 3. Okay, I'm gonna be answering questions later, Anush. I can see your question here, and I will answer this in a little while after secret number 3. Is that okay? Right. Secret number 3. When you became aware of all, well, of the belief system that you operating on, and when you became aware of the story that you've been living, the story that you've been actually reliving again and again. Like for myself, at one point in my life, I had to stop and pause, and I'm sharing this story very often. But in my last toxic relationship, I had to like look back and acknowledge, is like, hold on a minute, all of my relationship looks somewhat the same. Maybe it's not them, maybe it's me. So when it comes to the point of realization, when you attend to your inner belief system, and when you become aware what is actually driving you behind all of this, conscious things in your, because there's only some of the thoughts that are available to you, but there's so many thoughts that actually running you on the background, and they really running you on the background. So uh, and when you rewriting your story, so this is the secret number 3, is rewriting your story. Because I can tell you this right now, you can absolutely recreate and change absolutely everything that you desire. You can change your story, you can change your incredible relationship. And let me tell you the story of this client of mine that I was sharing, that where she was in a toxic relationship, and like meeting her father, right? And it's like all the time, over and over again. So when we started working together, uh, we completely cleared out her belief system and completely rewrote her story, what it would be like. And there was a man that she really liked. She actually was like melting when she was seeing him. And the like after 3 sessions, she started dating him, and dating him in a very empowered way. I gave her tools and skills where she can actually address, because her girl, her inner child was popping up there and creating the doubts. It's like, hey, but he just wants to have fun with you. Hey, but he doesn't take you seriously. And having the tools and skills where you can deal with that when you start dating, this is absolutely incredible, right? So what happened? Um, they're dating. They're in different countries now because like of the situation with this coronavirus, and but they still in contact, and it's not like one off, like, oh yeah, I just went and I had this beautiful date and nothing came out of it. No, it's like continuous effect. It has a continuous effect when you really put your tools into place and you use them. The result is amazing, right? That you don't have to wait. Like lots of us, we're sitting and we're waiting for the messages from our uh, loved ones, or people that we enjoy, or we fancy, and we wait, and we actually very disempowered in that space. It's like, oh, why is he not answering, why is this, why is that? And what happens is, like, when you learn those skills and tools and you implement them, you learn how to step into your power and communicate authentically. What do you want? What is true to you? What do you desire? And you find a different response from people, because essentially what happens, your self-worth grows, because no matter what relationship you're in, it's all based on your self-worth. And if your self-worth is below to what you want, then you're gonna have struggles accepting, all this love. And not only that, but you will have challenges in even feeling worthy of what you want. But what I mean by that very often we create in the situations that are, we all create in the situations, right? At all times. It's like every single time, with every single person, we create in that, we create in our reality. So when you feel that you are worthy only of this much like connection or affection, this is what you get. If you are believing that you're worthy of this much love, that this is your capacity, this is what you're gonna get, right? But it's like what I'm trying to say here, you can of course always adjust your belief system and increase your level of heaviness, I like to call it, where you can have more than you want, or not even more than you want, but where you can increase your capacity for having what you want. Because if your capacity for receiving love is this much, there is a very little chances that you're going to receive more than that, right? You're going to receive only what is your capacity to receive is. So, and you can of course rewrite that story. You can absolutely rewrite that story and change that for yourself. So let me tell you this client of mine's story, the guy that I've been sharing his story with you earlier. So he had a belief that women don't like sex and that it's a chore for them and that it's disrespectful to have sex with women. So he actually had a very deep belief that he gonna die alone, right? He had really deep belief that he gonna die alone. So it took us 9 months to work together until he actually moved in with his partner and they're planning to get married as a result. And all of that have been inner work to shift all of those beliefs. And it has been really, we worked intensely every week, on this. And I can tell you, it does take dedication, it does take um, commitment to do this. And this is where, this is what is the first step, is a commitment to yourself. How much do you really want to change your love story? How much do you really want to change your life? How much do you really want to create the beautiful relationships, because we never been taught that relationship is work, but relationship is work. We never been taught in school or like anywhere else how to relate with one another. Never. And we spend in relationships all of our lives. And most of us not even knowing how to relate to one another, right? So I'm here to change that. Does this make sense to you guys? I will slowly move into the questions. So we have about 17 minutes left, and I would love to move into the questions. So if you have any questions, please, 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 you can type them in the question box or into the comments box, right? So I've got a question here. How do we make these subconscious beliefs conscious? So how I work, I actually have a process where I take my clients through the process where they can drop into the place where they have created those beliefs. And then we actually bring all of those beliefs up, because what happens that they're actually not obvious at all. And some of my clients, they say they've been sharing with their friends the funny situations from their past very often, without actually realizing how much imprint those situations have actually uh, created in their lives, right? uh, so yeah, I have got this method where I take my clients uh, through core belief cycle, where they have the access to the memories that have created those beliefs, and then we look how those beliefs have affected all of the lives of the person, all the life of the person, right? Because we making decisions based on those beliefs. We make those beliefs mean something about us, like for example, I'm not good enough, or like in my case, I was not important, it's not safe to express myself. um, and this is just a few, or I don't have a choice, and that like my client had a belief that everyone's angry with her, that she did something wrong. And the other one like made it mean that she was responsible for her uh, father's feelings, that she cannot say or be herself because it would upset him. And this is what I'm saying, that we have those beliefs and they're not obvious. And how to do that, like I learned this with guidance, right? And it's like to discover the beliefs. Usually you would need a guidance, unless you actually learn to mm, yeah, I'd say I needed guidance to discover my beliefs. I needed guidance, and I needed the support in how to change them. Because what happens is like very often we find a belief and we don't know what to do with it. And we don't even know that it's a belief at all. We just like, oh yeah, there is this thing. But it's like finding that it is available for us to change those beliefs, create something empowering instead. That is really, really important. Really, really important, because if you are serious about changing your life, changing your relationships and your love story, then it's like changing your belief system around relationships and love story is really essential. Um, does this make sense? Does this answer your question? Do you have any other questions? This is so exciting. Wow. I would absolutely love to answer your questions as they come along. And yeah, if you have any more questions, I would absolutely love to support you in that. Okay, let me see if there's anything. So Lisa, you see here you're saying is like I can relate. In my case, I lived all my life believing that every single person I love will leave me, choose someone else. So this is a core belief that you have as it occurs to me, that you can actually change that. Because like what happens now, I imagine that you're looking for evidence of that happening. And if you're looking for evidence of um, of your loved one leaving you, then you're going to find that. If you're looking for evidence of your loved one staying with you, you're going to find that soon. We always going to find what we are looking for, always. Right. So I can see there is no more questions. So guys, tell me, was this useful? Did this, oh, let me see. But what about karmic patterns? How to heal them if we have that from the past lives? Right, karmic patterns. I'm not a specialist in the karmic patterns. I will tell you this right now. However, I have very close relationship with my karmic life because um, uh, uh, I'm a sacred priestess from my past life, and it is very big responsibility on me and my relationships. I actually wasn't ready for this when I find out. Okay, but then again, you can learn to heal your relationships with your karmic past experiences, because what happens, you carry that in your DNA, right, and is in your DNA right now. So all the fears, for example, that are related to your relationships, they're going to be in your DNA. And with changing your belief system, you also change the DNA of your body, because yeah, our beliefs and our confidence, our self-worth, and like upgrading our software like belief system has absolutely um, changing our DNA in our body. So by healing your inner child, you also healing your, you know, the past that has been ingrained in you by your parents, your grandparents, and so on and so forth, right? So it's like, of course, there is much deeper, you know, people who work with the past lives regressions. I don't work with the past life regressions, but what I do, I heal I heal and give people tools to heal their inner child on a level that is present right now. Because when you heal your inner child, it also heals all the imprints that have been ingrained in you by your family and, and all the blood lineage. Does this make sense? So, guys, we have only 8 minutes left. And actually, I would love to say, if you have got any more questions, please, please, share them here. But I would love to say that if you would love to have a conversation with me and bring the clarity about any of what I've said and shared with you just now. So let me actually recap the three secrets are, first of all, is your story and healing your story. What is your love story? Why is it there? Why, and how have you created that? What you've been modeling since you have been a child, right? So this is the secret number one. Number two is healing your inner child. The child, the little person who have been needing the attention, that person who, little you that needed that love and support and didn't get it at the time, right? That little you that have created the inner beliefs that you operating on right now, right? And the third one is to rewriting your story, because no matter where you are right now, no matter what your relationship status is right now, you can always rewrite your story. Always, always, always. And in fact, I'm helping my clients exactly with that. And if you would love to know more, if you would love to have a conversation about how does this work, or what is available, or what is the right solution for yourself, or maybe you would love to share your situation with me, and know what options are available for you. But like, I would absolutely love to connect with you personally and have a conversation about how like what support is available and what options are available for you. Because like, let's be honest, we never have learned anything about relationships until we are already relating. And most of our relationships, like I know for myself, have been unsuccessful just because I didn't know how to relate, just because I've been triggered into the place where I'm feeling unsafe in the relationships, and I would keep distance, right? And it's time to change the story. Time to change the story. Um, so I can see here. Thank you so much for answering questions. Is the recording available for this session? Yes, 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 there is. And actually, you know, there is not only recording is available, there is also, um, you can book a call with me to have a conversation about what is available also. You know, it's like, and like I said, I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear how I can support you, or maybe share with you what is available for you in this space where you can learn how to create your desired relationships. What are your desires? So many people don't even know what their desires are. So I will I will put a link here in the comments, and you can book a call with me, so to have a conversation. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. And I can see here, thank you so much for answering questions. Is there a recording will be available? Yes, I will send the recording to in the email. So you will find the link in the email. If you have got any questions, just simply reply on the email, ask your questions, or you can, like I said, book the call and just ask me questions directly, right? Maria says, thanks, Eugenia. You're so welcome. Guys, tell me, please, was this useful for you? Did you learn something? Did you find value in this? I would absolutely love to know that. And maybe create more webinars in the future. So I really, really, really would appreciate your feedback. And yeah, I would love to create more of very useful webinars for you that are going to support you in your journey in creating more love. Because like I said, my mission is to create more love, more connection in the world. And I absolutely love sharing the skills and tools that I have learned and that have helped me in my life, that have absolutely helped my clients in their lives. So yeah, right. I would, I'm probably gonna wait another minute or so to see if anyone is having any more questions or want to say anything else. And okay, Sonur says, yes, very beneficial. Thank you for shedding light on the topic. You're so welcome. Merle says, all the content is useful, and also I'd be very grateful for practical techniques and tips. Absolutely. Well, Merle, perhaps you would like to book a call, and maybe I can share some with you on the call. Because like I'm saying, is some of is this is a webinar. We have got an hour, right? We have got a very limited time, but it's like bringing the awareness to what is the first step. Okay. And it's like, if you would love to know more, if you would love to know how you can create the amazing, you know, relationship based on how you feel inside, on this love, giving and receiving love, yeah, please book a call with me. I would love to share with you absolutely more of what I know. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, for really showing an interest in how you can create a love life that you desire. And because I believe love is going to save us all. Love is going to save the world. Love, love always wins. Right. And thank you so much for being here once again. Recording will be available and I'm going to send it on the email. And yeah, have a fantastic rest of the day or evening or wherever you are in the world. It's 6 in the morning now in Bali. So I am sending you lots of love and take care for now. Bye. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.